ko koe ko au, in translation, meaning I am you and you are me, life into you, and you can breathe life into me.
Tahi, rua, toru, wha, ti hei Maori ora. No mai haramai, and welcome to the Chur Māori podcast, the podcast where we interview Māori people in business, share their stories, and help inspire other Māori people to get out there, be a boss, and get ahead in life. Enough korero, let's start the show. Chur. Kia ora te whanau, no mai haramai, and welcome to the Chur Māori podcast. And today, we've got a special guest, and I've been following this fellow online for a little while now. And I think the first event I saw him was at a Kerwin Ray event. So he was there doing a live, sharing his whakaaro, his korero that he got from this event. But today we're here to talk about his business and what he's doing, sharing Māori culture, and I'm just excited to have him on the podcast today and share his korero, share his journey through business, because I know he's out there doing the mahi. And so I'll introduce him. So welcome, Andre Ahipene. Kia ora, bro. Welcome to the podcast.
Kia ora, brother. Tēnā koe.
Just to get going with the podcast interview, bro, share where you're from, your hometown, your iwi, all that stuff.
Kia ora. Tēnā koutou e te moti whānui ko Andrea, heuri ahau no te arawa waka, te arawa tangata, te arawa mangainui. O tiranga, tirangi wewehi te hapu. Te maunga ko te awa haungero toru anui a kahumata momoi, te awa tīpuna, o tira ko tāwa ke heima te tīpuna. No reira, me tau kato, koutou e noho tika, ki runga I tēnei, o tira tērā tānou. My name's Andre Ahipene. I'm from Rotorua, the centre of the universe, and now I've been for 10 years now. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Kia ora whanau.
Joyce, bro. So no mai haramai, welcome to the podcast, bro. Just give us a little intro on your background, growing up as a Māori back home.
Yeah, I like this question. I can go in so many different angles. But the most important for me growing up as Māori is exactly that, having that being given that taonga to be Māori, and probably the biggest thing that I really love in terms of growing up and my experience as being Māori. I've been and surrounded by our culture, be it tikanga, be it haka, waiata, e rātu mea, of being lucky and fortunate enough to be. So growing up as a Māori has been a privilege, and to continue growing as Māori is also an extreme privilege. So I consider myself quite lucky.
Choice, bro. Choice. And it's cool to see you with your tāmoko, bro. Like, I know this is you haven't always had this, and it's only like kind of recently. This is just a question that I had for myself, bro. Like when I first met you, it was kind of cool to see like a fella with a younger age, like with the tāmoko, and I've sort of thought about it myself. Like, what's the thought process? What kind of process did you have to go through for yourself, bro, when you were thinking about getting your tāmoko done?
Yeah, oh shucks, there was quite a lot of processes that I went through. A lot of them were all personal, and ultimately what I had to focus on was for myself as an individual, my purpose for going down, I suppose, this new journey of wearing mataora or moko kanohi. So, it was a purpose that I had to reach just in a nutshell, but, a broad spectrum. Consider everything at the end of the day, but most importantly, remember my purpose and my reasoning for this, Anthony, and what umbrellaed this decision and this process. I think was ko te mea nui ko te aroha. So love was the I think the portai that I put on this whole decision and choice and journey that I take where in moko kanohi can, you know, veer off down so many different paths. Love for who you are as an individual and what you have to offer to this world culture. Love for your people, your surroundings, that make you, you know, that basically are what you are made up of. And love for the future, that, you know, what path we're in Mataora or moko kanohi will bring, you know, in the past into the present, the future, so that, you know, hopefully one day, you know, we don't just see the old moko kanohi or moko kauai floating around, and I'm happy that there is a at this time in terms of this, because it is a part of our identity and who we are. So yeah, ultimately my biggest focus and purpose and reason was focused around love, and most important, wife and our connection. When we received our moko, my wife received her moko kauai as well, and a 5-year wedding anniversary, although we had been together time before that. So yeah, ko te mea nui ko te aroha.
Oh, choice, bro. That's awesome, eh? It's a beautiful thing to see, like, you know, because I guess growing up it wasn't, you know, colonialism or whatever it is, might think it kind of closed it down, but now it's really starting to like blossom. And I mean, like, that's awesome, eh?
Awesome.
Yeah, bro. Just tell us a little bit about you know, one of the reasons why you moved to Australia, because I know you're here in Brisbane as well. So what was the reason you and your whānau decided to move to Brisbane or to Australia?
Yeah, I think, you know, different compared to some other whānau that moved to Aussie in terms of you know, looking for a better lifestyle and better financial. We literally for love, bro, love in the sense that my wife's family all lived here, and she wanted to be closer to her whānau. So we were pretty good, you know, pretty good, I must say, back home in Aotearoa with the mahi and our sort of lifestyle situation that we had. But at the end of the day, yeah, whānau comes first. We decided to move to the whānau and had set ourselves a goal at least 5 years to try and make it work. And now ticking over to 10 years next year, we're pretty happy, and a huge mihi goes out to this whenua, te iwi moi moia, for looking after us. Who's here for our whānau, you know, we can only give thanks to the land and to the people here for having us, you know, looking after us. So yeah, it was whānau brought us here, bro.
Yeah, true, bro. That's kind of the same for me too, because my wahine or her whānau was over here as well. So she sort of asked me, "Oh, what do you think about moving over to Australia?" And I was kind of like, "Oh yeah, no, we'll give it a go." 13 years later, now we're still here, but you know, home is always where the heart is, I guess. So with your mahi, bro, Auaha, give us a little bit of a rundown on how you guys got started and what your kaupapa all about.
Choice. Okay. So yeah, Auaha is the name of our business, or our Pākehā Māori. Literal translation, create, fashion, or form. In a literal translation. So for us, where that resonates for us in terms of the name and how it blends into the mahi that we do, is that we're really fulfilled by or igniting ultimate potential within individuals, be that through haka, be that just through anything remotely focused on. That's what really fulfills. And we thought one day, look, what are we passionate about? And you know, it was haka, it was te ao Māori. That's what brought me and my wife together. How can we action ourselves? And so we we sort of started putting things together. Then we started to think about our name and how we would how it would all blend together. So yeah, like I said, we're really fulfilled, and we've been lucky enough to tutor Kapaka based here in Brisbane, and going on our 10 years with them next year. So yeah, we really stopped and looked back at our 10 years and what really and what we can continue to grow with and move forward with, and that was the focus in terms of getting into this Pākehā Māori, the business side of it. In terms and I suppose around first and foremost around Māori cultural performance. So we perform at a lot of events, a lot of occasions, a lot of different kaupapa that not only but nationally, and fortunate enough to be going international with the mahi that we've been doing. So yeah, so Māori cultural performance or always a given going to be the headline of what we do. We secondly have also identified that we 10 years, if we've been here in Brisbane, we've actually built quite a lot of strong connections and strong teams, and the unity that we've actually built over here has been actually acknowledged in what we were good at. So we started moving into the corporate team building area as well, focusing on using our our techniques and our kaupapa Māori when in haka, and being able to to teach unity and commit through haka through. And finally, we've also branched into the youth area. So I'm working with our engaged youth, offering a different option, a different pathway, and again using our tikanga haka and really just trying to emerge the life skills within, things like respect, things like communication, that I have identified in the small time we've been here, that our youth, not just our own youth being Maori or Pacific Island, but just youth in general. At the end of the day, they're our future leaders, and we have been hoping, once upon a time when I sort of just want to offer a different option for them, and have been lucky enough to be working with the Youth Detention Centre out at Waikum and working with some youth in there, as well as the PCYC, and yeah, really enjoying that that mahi. So yeah, those three, I suppose, pathways have been our choices on where we're going to take our business, and where we want to really add value more than anything, add value to people and areas. Yeah.
Choice, bro. That's mean as like mean as like and I see like what you guys have been doing, like since I sort of started following you guys, like being in Australia, what proportion of your like clients are Pākehā, Australian to Māori? Like, is there like a ratio? Just for curiosity, like
yeah, actually, that people sort of ask what we do, how well it sits with the industries and the market, I suppose we're trying to address. And to be honest, bro, one thing me and my wife have really identified, and probably in the last month or so, if I focus on Australia the most, they're actually ready for it. Once upon a time, I think it was a bit like snubbed. It was a bit snubbed and not quite accepted in a sense. But I think as time goes on, the cultural inclusion, bro, in Australia alone is starting to be made. Are starting to be more accepting in terms, not just Maori culture, bro, but just culture in general. The place is just totally diverse, and although we know that it's actually growing by the day, statistics of culture within Australia is growing. We just we are just one of those, we fit into that same category. However, for us, we want to be the front runners in terms of, cultural inclusion and cultural awareness. We're brother and sister countries. We form Anzac together, so to share our different cultures would be, just as equally would be just awesome, bro. That's a massive vision of ours.
Choice, bro. Choice. That's wicked, eh? Like, I guess, coming from home, there is that kind of rivalry between Australia and New Zealand, like always, with our sports and stuff. It would be the same, but it's I see the same thing happening with our girls when they go to kura, and they have their diversity days. So their cultural, they want to dress up, as Maori. Sometimes they want to dress up as Scottish, because that's the other side from my partner. She's half Maori, half Scottish, and so am I. Okay. So and it's like really accepted, eh? Like the kids are like really into the other culture, so that's awesome to see. And your fella, that's helping with your fella's mahi, and your mahi is helping to bring everyone together. So that's awesome, eh? So how do people get in contact with you? Like what's their process like? They have an event or something, and they contact you, and do you just walk them through the steps and what's involved? So can you just sort of run us through like what's involved with that process, bro?
Okay, choice, bro. So we actually have on all our social media platforms. We can be made contact through there. So final stages of developing our website, which is quite exciting for us. To be moving down that direction as well. So where we are in terms of the process, when people want to look at taking on one of our service offers, we do have our fundamental packages that have a baseline in terms of what we have options where people can add on, I suppose, or upsize to large type sort of thing. So there is definitely a basic or fundamental in every one of those services. And for example, running an 8-week program with our youth there at Waco at the youth. That basically how a program works is over an 8-week period, 8 to 10 week period. How many sessions we do within that 8 to 10 week period can be decided upon, and that time is to basically just to grow people and grow our kids in a new direction, for example. So there's definitely a baseline with it when it comes in, bro. We sort of work around 80-minute performance in general, and we can actually branch up to an hour should that be the so we've been doing opening events, so just creating impact and vibrancy and electrifying type performances. Just for example, started in it, and it's quite interesting, bro, because some of the mahi that we've been doing is not one bit remotely Maori related. Maori, just what haka brings, for example, to an event, or what our culture can bring to an event, bro, is awesome, and aren't aware just yet exactly how it can actually impact your event and really get it started on a high. So as time's going on, we're really starting to branch into something not necessarily new for us, but something new for our targeted clientele. So for everything, bro, and add-ons, and we want to try and give our clients an opportunity to personalise some of the programs that we have, so that we can get what they out of us and the money that we do.
Awesome, bro. So, just to give us an example, what kind of events have you opened up for, just to give our whānau just a bit of an idea of your guys' diversity?
I think we go from, if I can sort of put it in a nutshell, we go from community right through to corporate, and community weddings right through to our our recent mahi, or our current mahi, working with Zero. So Zero, a massive organisation in their bookkeeping, and they are a New Zealand founded company, and we are fortunate enough to be, by the end, opening 5 of the events or conferences that they've held both here in Australia and back home in New Zealand. So they're really quite a commercial organisation, and that's been awesome, bro. So we've been able to open up their events with a pohi and annual welcoming process for, and to really just set the tone and put the Maori and the Wairua on a good level for their conference. And so we've sort of we just as community based as we are, we want to be corporate, as well at the same time too. So they're quite big in what they do, and we've been a part of Kaupapa too, bro.
Choice, bro, because I sort of watched a couple of your guys' YouTube videos and Facebook videos, and I hear you sort of at the start, the putataras going off, the horns are going off, I can see how you guys can, really pick the energy up of the room that you guys start your performance. And I guess it's like, haka how the haka can and raise the whole crowd when the All Blacks do the haka and all that type of stuff. Not just that, but I know that's why everybody can relate to, because they see that on TV all the time. But that's mean. And what kind of reactions are the people out in the audience? I guess what kind of reactions can you see? Are they like, especially over here, are they sort of buzzing out to see you guys? Because a lot of them, I guess, it could be their first cultural experience. So what kind of reactions are you getting beforehand and afterwards?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think Australia is in a good time where they now accept what we do, bro. So in some cases, bro, we've been in situations where we identify the Australians in the crowd, and if I'm to be honest, bro, based off body language and facial gestures, bro, there's a sense of like, already know this, like I'm in, So for the Aussie, bro, it's like, this isn't new to me, but I feel cool because I know what the haka is about, and I feel cool because I've seen the haka, a number of times now. So, is beyond just the face value. Now I understand what the haka is about. I understand how important it is to the Kiwis and to the Maori and stuff like that. So, we get those types of reactions. And if I was last month when we did a performance for ZeroCon, which was an international conference for Zero. So there was 20 countries in attendance, bro, at that time. And we performed, in the session that we done was 3,500 people. And that's big for us. That's a big number, and that's a big sort of number to try and, capture every kind of things. But overall, the reaction to Primo, bro, they're awesome. I think for them, the way we look, they're lucky that they get such beauty through culture, such beauty through haka and dance, and that super reaction to Primo, bro. And you gotta, I suppose, if they are, you gotta take the good with the bad, sort of thing. Out of team, bro. It's Primo. Is the awesome reactions. Yeah,
choice, bro. That's me, eh? It's nothing like when I know I've been caught out sometimes, like with those type of things, and people are sort of like busy doing their own thing, and next minute they hear the horns go off, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Like, sort of wakes you up a little bit. So that's mean.
Yeah, for sure.
You really get the attention of people when that big noise starts and all that energy starts coming out. So just to talk about the business side of things, has there been any real low points? Because I know a lot of people like to paint the brush about business. It can be easy, but I know there can be tough points. Is there any low points that you can talk about and how you got through them?
So I think the biggest low, I thought about this, and the biggest low that's so long to get started. That low for us, bro, is that we were thinking we were sitting on the fence for years and we had these concepts and these ideas and these visions for years, and we were sitting on the fence with them. At it like, oh, well, if we don't, someone else will. So we need to get our A into G and get going. So that was probably overall the biggest blow, is that we've taken so long to really get a boogie type thing. However, to focus on a reoccurring, perhaps low, if and probably some, and put more attention in, it's just the balance, just the balance in lifestyle. Be it through whānau, be it through mahi, and all those types of things. Really focusing on when it's time to mahi, it's time to mahi. When it's time for whānau, it's time for whānau. Similarly, sort of sometimes we lure it in to the next step for mahi, to the next, the next foot forward type thing for mahi. And although that's not a bad thing, and there's a time and a place for everything. In terms of business, though, we're only 2 years into what we're doing, so we're definitely in that startup process. So all the startup struggles that I suppose come with it when it comes to getting into business are definitely there, and it's definitely an uncertainty. So ups and I suppose there's some downs, and sometimes it's just through decision making for us that we've identified. What types of decisions we make, and I suppose what types of people we're involved with and influenced by ourselves. And so a lot of things are contributing, but there hasn't been any really slumps, and that quite open and identify our struggles, our issues straight away, and try and hit them on the head straight away. That too. So touch wood, bro, we can continue down that path, and I think one of our biggest things is that if we do get to those points, is that we really just outsource our weakness. And so if we're finding that we're struggling and we need help, to put our pride to the side and somewhat volunteer, and seek that guidance and that advice, bro. So that's sort of our approach to it as well. If I can sort of in that case, if I can add, no major downs at this stage, bro. Other than we should have started 5 years ago.
Choice, bro. That's good, eh? Like you said, you got the flow. Took a little while to get started, but you looks like you guys are pumping at the moment. Like you said, when those things pop up, you got to nail it on the head. As soon as it comes up, you sort of got to keep knocking those nails down. But that's choice,
solution focused.
So what are you guys most proud of so far on your journey?
What am I most proud of? Later, bro, I think we're most proud of the fact that we are starting to industry. We sometimes your thought can be so far-fetched that you don't know how it's going to go and how it's going to work and who's going to accept it, blah, 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 blah. So, fascinating. And actually get in there, you actually find. So business perspective, bro, we're quite proud that we're to make a reputation, a lot of good networks and organisations around Brisbane and slowly branching international. Family-wise, bro, we're really proud that our kids get to grow up around what we're doing and are involved. So us, bro, as much as we can. So to stand on stage with my babies and my wife, bro, it's always going to. We're always going to get there, and it's be there, bro. So that's both business and I suppose personal or family oriented, bro. We're really proud of those two things.
Choice, bro. So where do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years in the future of your business? What vision have you guys got for your mahi?
Put it in one word, bro, we will be unstoppable. We will be unstoppable in what we are going to be doing, bro, and the areas that we want to be, the areas, I suppose, that we want to major and, be known for. So one of my biggest visions, bro, when it comes to services are the world's first. And saying that, the example I like to give is that what's the first fast food you think of? 9 times out of 10 because they do. what is the first sort of fizzy drink you can think of? Coca-Cola. Why? Because they do what they do so well and on such a high level that the world, the world basically knows them, industry or in their lane, what they do. So for us, bro, and where we want to, really be in the next 5 or 10 years, bro, all up in there, we're facilitating programs and corporate events and workshops left, right and centre. And really the ultimate drive and purpose for that is to continue to contribute to Te Ao Māori through the mahi that we do. And naturally, how we grow and what we is based on how much value we insert to those areas. So if we can really do a good job and be true and pono in those areas, bro, our visions and our dreams will be exactly that, bro, unstoppable.
Choice, bro. Yeah, that's me, Naz. Hit it on the head, eh? Like, if you want to do anything, you want to make a name for yourself, so you're the best, eh? Top of mind. So, no, that's me, bro. Just talking about us being over here in Australia, have you ever considered moving back home to New Zealand?
Actually, bro, within the last 10 years, I've probably only had one sort of time where I thought, look, I need to go there for this, that, and the other. And probably the biggest sort of pull towards going back home was whānau. And as time goes on too, it's also just to stay reconnected with, tikanga Māori evolving in those areas, to be able to that we've made it a goal for ourselves, for myself and my wife to choose two kaupapa Māori every year to specifically go back for, so that we can replenish and rejuvenated in those areas, allowing us to continue living here and doing what we're doing. So every year we're going to look at the calendar and see what is going to be beneficial for us in that year in terms of kaupapa Māori to go back and be strengthened within and shoot back twice a year specifically as kaupapa. In terms of Christmas or perhaps Easter or something like that too. So in turn, we may shoot home three times a year, whereas once upon a time it was only once every second year. We would sort of focus on going back to my whānau for Christmas type thing. So to go back and get those things, or put those pieces, those missing pieces to the puzzle together, I think will remain living here. But yeah, it was just whānau really was one of the biggest things. But no, not at the stage anymore. No.
Yeah, choice, bro. Like it seems that's a good way of looking at it, eh? Like just bouncing back a couple of times a year just to recharge the battery and stuff, and just touch base with home, and then
just put our feet back on the ground, and if we're feeling we're lacking, or we need a little bit of we need to replenish the well, I suppose, in some areas, then we are attentive for, we go back and we charge and come back and continue on. So that's our strategy, I suppose, at this stage.
Choice, bro. So would you, what kind of advice would you have for anybody who was, say, in Aotearoa looking to move over to Australia, or in Australia looking to move back home? What advice would you have for them if they were coming over here?
I mean, whatever your reason is, just stay true to that. And when you come here, just give it a good go. When I say that, try and set a small-term goal, perhaps, if it's 5 years, to really give it a good go. Because we had those 5-second blues where we moved over here, and then all of a sudden, we just don't fit in type thing, we're going to go home, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, you've made the effort to get on that plane and make the decision and do whatever it took to get yourself here, then just really give it a good go. And if anything, if it does, for example, take the learning and experience out of environments around totally different people, so it wasn't too bad for us because we're quite versatile people. We actually can work well with, the dynamics of people. We've actually learned that really well. So I work with some really true blue Aussies, to who they are, and I'm encouraged by that, bro. You know, that's one thing. I look at the situation. I don't look at like, I don't fit in, blah blah blah. I'm just encouraged that you are so you encourage me to be staunch. You know what I mean, and all those types of things too. So yeah, just give it a good go, really, bro. You know, make the decision and have a good jam. And you never know, it might work. If not, oh well, you can always go home.
Yeah. It's good, because like even just to come over here, just to see the difference, like the different lifestyle, see how people are, it sort of opens your mind up to more ways, so more opportunity, even if it's just for a look, eh? And that's mean, bro. And I know there's a lot of you know, us Maori who are looking to get into business, and I like to ask this question because a lot of us who are just getting started, we don't have a lot of money to, you know, get going. So say if you were starting a new business, you didn't have to worry about, you know, your kai, your accommodation, that's all taken care of. You're staying with auntie, your uncle, your cousins, whatever. You had $500, you had your mobile phone, and you had a laptop. What advice would you give to get started in a business, bro?
Okay, so loaded with all those tools and that armor, what would be my first step, eh? That's a good question. That is a good question. I think it would be, firstly, if it's business focused, just look at your passion, look at what you're, and work from that perspective or that angle. So if you can wake up every day and without fail, you know, do the mahi that you business and the mahi that you want to do, and you can quite happily not be paid for it. And I think on the way down that pathway, you could probably $100 in your pocket. You could still have all the credit on your phone, and you could still as well, and all those kind of things. So I think really, bro, like that's what we recognise that we were doing. I can't help but not speak about my own personal experiences that we've been to Te Ao Māori and to the world and not being paid for it, and quite happily to do it week in, week out, year in, year out, sort of a line. Quite happy to go down and initially not be paid for it and offer your time and volunteer your services for free. Then I think if you can do that, I think networks and relationships that will turn that 500 into 500,000. So I think just based on the relation. So, you know, where you invest that money straight off is being able to continue to aid you in your first step. So, that's an interesting question, bro. I actually like that.
That's one of those ones, bro. Like the way you talk about it is like, and it's like a lot of the entrepreneur gurus of old school, like, you know, outside of Aotearoa, like overseas and stuff. That's what they all talk about, you know, finding something that you love to do, and then the money will come because you never feel like you're going to do any mahi because you enjoy doing what you do so much. You know, the value that you bring sort of brings in the money, I guess, in a certain way.
That's it, bro. That's it, bro. Yeah, that's exactly it, bro. I mean, the natural consequence, say, to instilling or delivering value, bro, is reward in whatever you know shape type thing. You know what I mean? If that reward is financial, then so be it. If that reward is your next and possible network or relationship opportunity with someone else, then so be it. You know, for example, I give this as an example, something I can use of recent, and offered our services to a community based resort, so where a lot of our kaumātua come and just hang out and do some activities, and through offering our time for nothing, we then to date our biggest claims of you know, financial gain, I suppose, too. So by going down in no, I don't want to do this, I can't be bothered, blah 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 blah. Anyway, long story short, we ended up doing this kaupapa for next to nothing, and ultimately by giving our found that we were blessed with the biggest opportunity financially of our business life. So yeah, that's a reason why instilling that value and not focusing on the consequence and what will hopefully come from that. Just do the mahi. Naturally that was the reward. It's been a massive learning curve for us too.
Joyce, bro, that reminds me of that whakatauki aha ko e te he pounamu, like, you did that little gift, there wasn't a lot in it, like monetary wise, but you gave that gift, and then reciprocity, something came into pay you guys for your mahi, so it led to that giving your gift away led to something else coming in. So that's mean, and that's whakatauki Māori is so powerful, and that's why what I love about it, and for me, and I know a lot of other people are looking out to the the gurus that are out there, but there's a lot of mātauranga, and there's a lot of knowledge like in our whakatauki. It's just we have to open our whatu and see it. But move on to our quick fire round, bro. So this is just a quick answer off the top of your head. Kina or pawa?
Oh, pawa.
Rewana or fry bread?
Oh, I don't mind a good fried bread.
With the butter and the golden syrup, or jam man, or
bro, and the butter, bro, and whatever else I can add from there, it's a bonus.
Choice, bro. Swanndri or gumboots?
Ooh, I'll have to say gumboots, and it hates wet feet.
Hey, unless you're in Australia, anything's all right. The water's all right over here. Haka or waiata, bro?
Has to be haka, bro. I'm a haka man.
Choice. Beers or spirits or anything else? What was that, bro? I think we just lost a little bit of audio.
Oh, beer. Oh, there was beers for me, bro. Beers.
It's that type of weather over here for beers at the moment, anyway, eh? Now last quick fire, bro. Queen. Hey. Fail. I just stick to the 16. Play safe. Last one, bro. Queensland or New South Wales?
Oh, Queensland, bro. Queensland are hard.
Choice. Sure, bro. So we're just gonna move on now to our te reo section. Do you have a favorite whakatauki or proverb that resonates with you that you want to share?
Yeah, for sure, bro. And basically, in translation, meaning I am you and you are me. In so many different ways, be that through culture, bro, be that through just being human, and the another, and qualities that one another can bring. And whatever your weaknesses is, 9 times out of 10, my breathe life into you, and you can breathe life into me, sort of thing, through relationship and connection, bro. So that for me really resonates, because it can be looked at from so many different angles, being yourself and our whenua, yourself and your goals and your visions, and in so many different ways, bro, those types of things. So you can really apply that whakatauki ko in so many different situations and scenarios, and that was given to me, our late Koromita Mohi from Ngāti Rangiwewe, who established our maurako wānanga on Makoia Island. So something that was really dominant in prominent time, and there are still matua and some of our uncles that are still running there too. So that's probably a big one for me, bro, because I have many different areas of my life, and so can you.
Sure, bro. Yeah, mean. Next question is just about te reo. Like they say te reo, they say on TV that it's in decline, and I don't believe that. So I think that's totally the opposite. But tell us about your thoughts on that, and your journey through learning te reo and all that.
Yeah, I think, well, statistics will be statistics, and they're getting that information from where you don't quite truly know unless you spend, time in those environments, and that being the marae, that being wherever, real, I suppose, perhaps getting the statistics from. But in saying that too, it all starts in the home. It all starts in the home, and all those content that we, maintain as much as we can, no matter how big or small your understanding or learning is, or knowledge is of te reo Māori. Practice, you know what I mean? So, you constantly mihi, like for us personally, ourselves, we karakia in Māori for our kai, and we get our kids to hariru and mihi to all those that elders and their tuakana and all those types of things. So, when it comes to our kids, just something really small. I mean, our babies were born here and grow up around all the traditions, and I suppose here it's about just making sure we instill something small in the home, in turn contributing to te reo Māori and the world. But my learning journey with te reo Māori was really primo through school, and made sure that I succeeded in that area. And next year, when I was at high school, we were one of the second get be a part of a new recognition tool that was brought into NCEA. So much so that we were allowed to write our English exams in Māori, and it be recognised as an English type sort of, a qualification and recognition. So there was an approach to it, and we were the second years that be a part of that new journey. So te reo Māori was, I was privileged with growing up around it, and being educated through school, and continued to be educated. So it's primo, bro. It's cool to korero, brother. It's cool to korero.
Too cool to korero, bro. And it's funny, my daughters, they I talk a bit of, little bit of drop kupu here and there for them, and they pick it up, and it's good. And our whole whānau is on a process of getting better at te reo.
Awesome, bro.
And it's for me. All of my nephews are full kura kaupapa, so for me to go back, and I love hearing them just korero te reo. So I want to better myself and our whānau, so when we go back, we can have those full-on koreros and te reo. So that's me. Yep. Do you have a favourite Māori idol or figure you look up to?
Yeah, actually, I have quite a few, bro. But however, one for me that has been a big part of my life and quite dominant is one of the Andre Ahipene. He's the managing director of the New Zealand Maori Arts and Crafts Institute back in Rotorua now, and has been in that role probably in the last couple. And he's been an awesome role model, and someone that I'm encouraged by, because he's been down the path to speak. Be it with youth, be it through, he's travelled the world through doing haka. He's worked alongside people like Tāwera Nico, bro, and their organisation known as Team One, that are building businesses and a team building sort of focus. So he's had quite a few years of experience in that walk. And also a man that has worked with his two uncles that still works with Maurako back at Rotorua and the programs there. So he's walked the same pathways that I want to go down, bro. And so if I need to, always be guided in those areas, he's always my first point of contact. And outside of that, bro, he's an awesome role model, bro. He's doing great things. So he's probably one of the biggest ones. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Mean. Do you have a favourite food from back home or anywhere? What's your favourite kai?
Oh, bro, honestly, it's always just the, I think my first go-to, bro, is just a good pie. Hey, just a good pie. A good mince and cheese, steak and cheese pie, one from a proper bakery. I don't mind myself a bit of Burger King, but I suppose when it comes to kai Māori, if I can get my hands on it, it's quite hard to at times. There's a bit of a mutton bird, it's a bit of a titi. I don't mind myself a good mutton bird, bro. Yeah. I mean, far out. Not a lot of people sort of sway that way, but that's good. That works out well for me. If I turn up with a whole little mutton bird, it's just really me and my name. And my mum just, but a Chris and all that kind of stuff, bro. So I love you, but a mutton bird,
Oh, true, bro. We might have to get us a bucket one time and do us a big boil up of mutton bird.
Hard, bro.
Yeah. Oh, because I sort of picked that one up from my old man, because he's one of those fellas from the old school. He'll cook up anything, and it was like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's mutton birds. Yeah, it was crack up, because nobody wanted to touch them. But I thought, I have a go, and it's quite mean. So
it's all good.
Bro. Yeah. Do you have a favorite TV film or TV show from home?
I've been enjoying at the moment, bro, the Ringings, but sort of any sort of Maori documentary, I don't mind watching, bro. Some good learning and some good history, but not really into anything like that, to be honest. But actually, I'm really into movies as well too. Actually, no, sorry, I lied, bro. I don't mind myself a good black comedy, I suppose. Good laugh. But other than that, bro, just sort of anything Maori related, really interesting.
Choice, bro. Yeah. Do you have any books you could recommend to any of our listeners, or any podcasts, or anything you think would help our Maori entrepreneurs get a little bit ahead?
Yeah, I think too, bro. One of the most common is The Secret, bro. Just understanding the mindset, because you get your head in the right space, and anything can be achieved. And that takes me back to what Chur Whanau we always used to say, or what I've heard him say through other avenues, bro, is that if the mind is open, anything is possible. So I think going down that track, bro, and actually getting into a good frame of mind is always going to be a benefit to anybody. Either reading The Secret or anything along those lines is definitely a good starting point. If I'm to be honest, I'm not really a massive reading man person. I do listen to podcasts and that, but again, I'm not really big in either of those areas. Not because I can't read or I can't hear, but more so just because I'm a person that likes to observe more than anything. So I can sit in a situation and be in any circumstance and just sit and learn that way. Learn by ear, like we do Māoris here, play the guitar, learn by ear, self-taught, all those types of things. So I'm a person that likes to and actually pick the pieces out that that apply to me and go forward in that way. So that's sort of how I approach it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, sweet. Like, I'm like that way too. I prefer to watch people do things, but I kind of force myself to get into reading, because I think the first time somebody recommended that I read a book, I was like, I ain't got no time to be reading, but I probably should have, and it was a good thing. But I did find it hard to actually read things and absorb it. I'll just read it just to read it, and then I'll be done with it. But I sort of got into reading. I just forced myself to read and to learn, because there's a lot of secrets out there that are in books, and they say if you want to change, you either meet people or you read books, or you fill your mind up with different things. So if you that's just my thoughts on that anyway. And do you have any advice for our rangatahi, bro?
Yep. Heck of a lot. Stop playing up. Now, if I was to be honest, I'd just have to say, take the learnings as fall on your face and learn from it, and just find something, someone to aspire to, and the sooner you find something you want to work towards, or somebody you want to be like, the sooner you'll actually identify and understand your purpose, what you're being put on this earth to do. It needs to be done on this earth. So the sooner you do that, the sooner you'll actually find way of putting one foot in front of the other, but at the same time too enjoy being young, because as we know, it just goes like that. Type things. Yeah. So hey, the mid times, and enjoy those hotatu times to switch on, if it's at school, if it's whatever, then just find something to really drive towards and aspire towards, and go hard, pump it hard.
Awesome, bro. There's some good advice. Say just find the goal way. I feel like a lot of that was me. I was just like going with the flow of everything. Not really too big on goals. I was just going with the flow, and it's all good. It's all good, but it's better. It's better if you have something that you're aiming for. So mean, bro. So that's pretty much the podcast, bro. Just to wrap it up, how can people get in contact with you if they want you to come and do your mahi? And where can people follow you in your journey? Let us know all those things: Facebook, YouTube, whatever.
Yep.
Where can we find you, bro?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search up Auaha or at Auaha17. So AUAHA. Find or Instagram and add us there or follow us up on there. It's probably our first point of contact. However, in saying that too, if you can't get us avenue, search us on YouTube as well. We have a few, quite a few videos up there on YouTube as well, so they're under Auaha as well. And through those YouTube videos, you will our social media platforms and whatnot. So sit tight though. However, we will be launching our website. And there'll be even more ways of getting us. Likewise, if anyone watching this, this live feed or this podcast, make contact with the brother Will here. And in closing for myself too, but I want to just mihi, and really, the path that you're going down and doing what you're doing, highlighting, awesome life perspectives and values that people can take on, and 9 times out of 10, probably on one given morning, and then the brother Will car pops up on Facebook, and you've got a primo message to deliver on the day, bro, and there's been a couple of days there where you sort of have that sort of free headspace, and you're looking for some sort of mātauranga or some sort of korero to add to the kit there, bro, and I've noticed myself really grabbing on to be able to be educated and be encouraged and inspired by the likes of yourself, bro. Somebody doing good things is primo. Huge mihi to you, bro, for having me and having Auaha, our whānau Auaha on here with your podcast. It's primo to see, bro, and awesome techniques that you're using, brother. Primo.
Kia ora, bro. Kia ora, bro. Thanks for all that. And yes, whānau, make sure you do follow Auaha, their whole kaupapa. And I'll be making sure I get all those social media links. And, when the website pops up, I'll be letting everybody know about that. So, yeah, bro, thank you again for coming on to the podcast and sharing your journey. I know a lot of people are going to get a lot of value out of listening to this. So, mihi kia koe and tō whānau. So, kia ora, bro. And that's a wrap, whānau. Thank you for listening. That if you found any value out of this podcast, just share it with one of your whānau members who think this might inspire them to sort of do better, because that's what we're all about here with Chur Māori. Awesome. Making sure we tautoko all our Māori people who are out there trying to make a difference for not only our Māori culture but for the world and as a whole. So kia ora, and see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.